Welcome again. My name is Mr. Michalak, and today we're going to be talking about using the Hoppy Mechanical aimers to aim a set of standard sealed beam headlamps. I'd like to first talk a little bit about the components that are part of the headlight aiming kit. First off, these adapters are going to be used in order to attach the headlights to the car that we're going to be working with today. We're going to be using the Chevrolet van with a standard set of headlamp aimers. These adapters are used on a 2 headlamp system using rectangular headlamps, and this is the set we're going to be using here. If you had a 4 headlamp system, rectangular, where you have a separate high beam, you'll be using the blue adapters. These would be used in order to mount that particular vehicle, mount on that particular style of vehicle. If you have, as far as a vehicle that has the General Motors mini quad headlamps, you will use these adapters here. Those were used on a number of General Motors SUV vehicles, okay, and they will be used as far as that goes for that. And then if you have, as far as your 4 headlamp system round, you'll use these adapters here. These are 5 3/4 inch adapters for use on as for round headlamps. And then these are the headlamp adapters that would be used on your large 7.5 inch combination high beam, low beam, seal beam headlamps. On the cars that we have here, that would be on the heavy truck or our blue dump truck. Now, you will also run into those vehicles that are non-seal beam and are what we call composites. On a composite headlamp, there will be numbers on the actual headlamp that these adapters here will be set at, and you will be needing to use, these are called the extension cups, and they would be used on those on those styles of headlamps. We'll get into those as far as in another demonstration. But today, we're going to use as far as the standard black adapters, and we're going to be using them here on as far as our sealed beam headlamps here on this van. Now, to start out with a sealed beam headlamp has, as far as that goes, a complete headlamp all in a unit that is replaced as one piece. It does not have a replaceable bulb. This whole headlamp assembly, so the whole headlamp will be replaced as one unit. And so what we're going to do, there are pads here, here, and here. There are 3 pads. Those pads will line up with the extensions here, okay, on our headlamp aimers. Now, in order to do a sealed beam headlamp, you have to set as far as the adapter legs, okay, all at 0. And so I'm going to do that right now. I have all of these set so that in the window here, you'll notice that I have as far as a 0 setting. And I did that for all 3 adapters. Okay? Now, if I had a composite headlamp, I would have to go by the numbers that are on the headlamp, and I can adjust these out. But again, we're doing a sealed beam with this one, so we're going to set these all at 0. So this one's set at 0. Check this one here and make sure it's also set at 0. And I now have them all set at 0. I'm now ready to put my adapters onto my headlamps. Now, you'll notice as far as that goes on the headlamps that there are as far as arrows. These arrows have to point at each other for each lamp. So this particular headlamp, this particular aimer is going to be used on the driver's side, okay, and this should be Unit A, and Unit B will have the arrow pointing the opposite direction, and that one will be as far as used on the passenger side. The reason why we have to have them aimed that way is that these targets here that are on the headlights have to be able to be exposed, they have to be as far as in line with each other. Okay? So, I'm ready to go ahead and fix my adapters to my headlamps. First off, I'm going to use this single rod here that's at the top that has as far as this notch here in the adapter. This is going to go into as far as a slot right here in the top of the headlamp, in the top of the aimer. Right here, there's going to be a slot. So, all I need to do, put the aimer, or put the adapter onto the aimer, and you'll notice that it will sit all the way back. Everything's set at 0. I'm now ready to go ahead and attach my aimer to my headlamp. So, what I like to do, I'm going to set the pads on my adapter on the bottom 2 pins that are on the headlight. So I now have the 2 of them sitting on there, and I'm going to then just bring this up, so I bring the top pad, or bring the top rod, okay, onto the top pad. Then, this is called the piston handle down here, this unit here. I'm going to pull down slightly on the piston handle and then push this suction, the vacuum motor piston forward to create, as far as a suction, to hold the headlamp aimer onto the headlamps. So, I'm on my adapters, I'm going to push forward, okay, and then not pushing the button in the middle of the handle, I'm going to pull back. And you can see, this is going to, as far as that goes, attach directly to, as far as that goes, my headlamp by suction. Okay, this is being held on by vacuum. These are not designed to stay there for a long period of time, but they will stay on for a few minutes while you're doing the headlamp aiming and checking the aim. Okay, now, if you had a floor level setting, you would also have, as far as that goes, you also set the floor level setting into your floor level dial. We're going to use a 0 floor level setting here today for this particular area, because this area is at a 0 level. Now, I'm ready to go ahead and attach, as far as that goes, my driver's side. And again, I'm going to take my adapter. I'm going to put, as far as that goes, the slot at the top of the adapter into the notch here on my aimer. Push it back all the way. And again, I like to always, as far as that goes, start with all my dials set at 0 on my aimers. I've got everything set here at 0. I'm going to, again, put my rods onto the 2 pads, tilt it up, pull down on my piston handle, and push forward on the piston handle. Pulling back on the handle without touching the release button in the middle, and as you can see, this is attached to, as far as the unit. I'm now ready to check the aim. The first thing I'm going to do is, and it makes no difference what order I do it in, but the first thing I'm going to do is turn, as far as my vertical adjustment here, until I get the level vial here in my unit centered in the middle of, as far as the 2 lines. So I'm just going to turn this, and as you can see, this is moving, as far as that goes, the level vial's moving in, and it is now between the 2 lines there. Okay? There is now a number on my vertical measurement. Okay? If you follow that up, it says 7. And if you notice over here, okay, there's some diamonds in this window. Okay? You'll notice there's a D over here and a U over here. So what it means is I'm 7 inches down. So in this case, this headlamp is pointing 7 inches down. Now, I'm going to do the same thing here on, as far as my horizontal. But what I have to do is look for the targets, okay, those yellow bar with the black line. I'm going to be looking for 2 of those targets in this window here. So I look down through here, and I can see my 2 targets. I'm going to have my camera come in here and see if they can, as far as that goes, get a picture of that. If you can see those 2 targets. I'm not sure if you can zoom in or not. I don't. See if you can zoom in there. Okay? Now you'll notice that those are not in alignment right now. What I'm going to now do, I'm going to turn, as far as I'm going to turn my horizontal knob, okay, until I get those 2, as far as those 2 targets aligned. So looking down through here, I turn that until I get the 2 targets stacked one on top of the other. And I now have the yellow bars with the black lines lined up. And again, you'll see there are numbers here on my horizontal, okay, along with diamonds in, as far as the window here, marked L, meaning left. So I am 7 inches left, and I am 7 inches down on this headlamp. Why don't you see if you can get another shot there of that target to see them, the 2 of them lined up. Okay? Now, I'm ready, as far as that goes, and I've got this side is now done. I know where I'm at, and I can see that this side fails. I got to be within 4 inches right or left, 4 inches up or down, okay, on my unit. I'm now ready to move over to the other side. And what I'm going to do here is exactly the same thing I did on the other side. I'm going to first off turn, as far as the knob here on my vertical, until I get my 2, as far as until I get my level vial between the two lines. And I'm bringing that in now. And remember that the level doesn't move immediately. If it doesn't move when you turn it as far as about 5 inches or so to the right, try it left and see now if it begins to move on you. Okay? And again, I'm looking here, and the diamond is on the side where it says U. So in this case, this side is about 7 inches, 7.5 inches up. Okay? And again, that is well beyond the 4-inch limit that you're allowed on these headlamps. Next thing I'm going to do again is looking down through my window here. I'm now going to, as far as that goes, check my horizontal adjustment. I've done my vertical, I'm checked my horizontal. And again, I can see my split image in the window. So I'm going to ask, as far as my cameraman, to go ahead and see if they can, as far as, if he can get that and take a look at that again. And get that, if he can see that. Okay? And now what I'm going to do, just like I did as far as on the other side, I'm going to turn my knob until I get those two images to move together and line up so that they make one solid line. And I've got that. And again, when I look at this, I'm going to notice as far as here, I have, as far as that goes, an R. And again, that I'm 7 inches right. Okay, but I'm going to ask my camera person to come in again and see, take a shot of, as far as that goes, the targets when they are lined up. Okay, so I now have my measurements, and the measurements on here are not in spec. I've got to have them as far as within 4 inches, right or left on my horizontal, and 4 inches up or down from center line, okay, on my vertical. We could go ahead now and adjust these headlamps, but again, what we're doing here is just checking the aim for, as far as the inspection. You would have to inform the customer that they do not pass, and they would, as far as, have to then have the headlamps aligned. We're now ready to go ahead and remove the aimer. Hold to the aimer as far as in your left hand, and with your right hand, come in, and in the middle of the piston handle is a button. Push in the button, and that releases the vacuum, and you can go ahead and remove your adapter and put it back into the box. And I'm going to come over here now to the driver's side and do the same thing. Holding on to this with my left hand, I'm going to take my right hand, push in on the piston handle, release as far as my unit, remove my adapter, and put everything back in the box. When I'm done, I'll put everything back. I've now, as far as that goes, made my adjustments. Remember that you always reset all of, as far as your numbers, back to 0 when you're finished doing your checking the aim on your headlamps. And again, thank you, as far as that goes, for participating with our demonstration on how to use the Hoppy Mechanical headlamp aimer.